Hi, I'm Kim Corbin, New World Library's social media manager and host of the New World Now podcast. I recently had the opportunity to connect via Zoom with Maria Felipe, author of Live Your Happy, Get Out of Your Own Way and Find the Love Within. I hope that you'll enjoy our most happy conversation about her book. Let's start by having you explain what the title of your book, Live Your Happy, means.
So live your happy. The reason the key word there is live is giving yourself the opportunity to really live the principles at max capacity in your life with your relationship with yourself and others. So there's no compromise. It means living it. I feel a lot of people nowadays are in self-help deprivation, just like really struggling because they'll get a self-help book and they'll feel great for a hot second. But I wanted my book to be a book that doesn't speak so much to your mind and to your intellect, more to your heart.
Yeah.
And to inspire you to go out and embody the principles. Like if you are loved, then how are you being when you're loving? If you are abundant, how are you being when you're abundant? And live that like at full throttle in your life. And that's when you see like true change happen. So that's why it's called Live Your Happy, because it's living your happiness every day out of 10 with no compromise.
Awesome. And I want to clarify too, you're not talking like the only feeling that you feel is happy, right? Like you definitely, part of this is being able to feel all of your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe that we have the capacity to live a basically very happy life, like overall. I think that we think that that's not possible, and that's why it doesn't happen, because we're so entranced and tranced out by this world. So what leads you to your happiness and to awaken is actually feeling your feelings, because within feeling your feelings and not pretending that everything's just so perfect and you're brushing things under the rug, within the feeling, you're able to recognize your thought clusters, which are those cuckoo thoughts, those fearful thoughts that I talk about in my book, and be able to really see them, observe them, and just work them out with your internal teacher. You have to feel your feelings so that way you can awaken. Within the feeling, your feelings is the awakening of the happiness.
Right. And you mentioned the cuckoo voice. And so let's talk a little bit, and also the internal teacher. And both of those are key points to your book, right? The internal teacher and then the cuckoo voice of the ego. So will you explain what both of those things are?
Yes. So the cuckoo voice is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And it's not good because it's not the cereal. Okay. Cuckoo is basically the voice in your mind that is fearful. Cuckoo voice is the ego voice that I call in the book. It's the voice of separation. It's the voice of manipulation, the judgmental voice, the voice that wants you to, be a victim of everything and everything's happening to you. It's that voice within you that what it does is that it kills your happy. It kills your happy. Then we have the internal teacher, which is the Holy Spirit. It could be love, light, your inner friend, your best friend, whatever word resonates with you, right? I call it the Holy Spirit. So it's that internal voice of love that is very gentle, and it doesn't manipulate. It doesn't try to make things happen. And it doesn't look for its happiness outside because it knows you have it all right now. So what my book does is that it helps you to turn up the volume on your internal teacher, on the voice of love, because the Course in Miracles says, which my book is based on the Course in Miracles, says that the ego speaks first and speaks the loudest.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's on fire in the way of viciousness. Like it's vicious. Mm-hmm. So what the book does is that it hires the volume, pump up the volume, all that song.
Yeah.
Pump up the volume on the Holy Spirit voice so that you can be more connected to your true self with a capital S, which is your true essence. And you can do the happy dance.
So tell us a little bit for people who don't know about what A Course in Miracles is and then how it came into your life.
So A Course in Miracles, what it is bringing you back. It's basically a tool book that brings you back to your internal teacher, which I talked about earlier, which is the Holy Spirit. The Course calls it Holy Spirit. And it helps you to let go of all the barriers that you have against love, all the grievances that you've had all your life, all the belief systems that you've built. The Course in Miracles helps you to dismantle that belief system of fear and come into your truth, your true self, and be able to connect to your to Holy Spirit in your mind. And that's why it's so powerful, because a lot of people don't know the way their mind works. They just wake up every day, you know, get on the phone or get your coffee, brush your teeth, and they have no idea that your mind is run by two thought systems, love or fear. So the Course in Miracles really discerns and shows you, hey, listen, you have the ego voice and you have the Holy Spirit voice. And depending on which voice you choose, you're going to go to heaven or hell. Now, heaven or hell is not somewhere you go to, some faraway place. No, it's right here, right now. Haven't you felt like you're in hell? I have. I felt I am like the inferno. So I know what it's like. So that's what my book says, and the Course says. It's like, no, it's not some faraway place you go to when you die. It's actually you experience it now. And what the Course does, it really helps you to understand that you're not a victim of the world that you see, that you're responsible for your experiences. So that means that it's not like you make things happen that are bad. It's just that whenever things happen, you could experience them through the perception of joy or fear. So you could discern either or. So that's what the Course in Miracles is about. It was actually published in 1976 by Helen Schucman and Bill Thetford. And supposedly it's been channeled through Jesus is speaking to us. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. People ask me all the time. For me, it rings very true, and it's been very helpful, and it's brought me back to my happy place. So that's all that matters. So I'm not going to argue about that. I'm just going to say that it works, and I'm testimony to that. I learned about the Course in Miracles through Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. I read that in the 1990s, and I was in the lowest place of my life. I was actually very depressed. And I went to Barnes & Noble's, and I saw the book and her face on the book, and I said, I need to have this book. And I read it, and this Jewish American lady is talking about this blue book left and right. And I'm like, what the heck is this woman talking about? So 5 years later, in 2001, I was at Unity on the Bay, and I was going to church there. And I heard them say, we're having a workshop for A Course in Miracles. And then I was like, oh my God, that's that blue book of that Jewish lady that told me about it. So I went to the workshop, and this fat, chubby man, really sweet man, was up there talking about the Course in Miracles. And he says, you're responsible. The Course in Miracles is teaching us that you're responsible for everything in your life. You can't be, you're not a victim of the world that you see, and you forgive people for what they didn't do. And I was like, what's happening here? Like, I didn't understand anything, and almost like literally fell off my chair.
Yeah, because and the book itself is very dense, right? Which is why your book is so great, but it's not easy to understand when you first dive into it.
You're right, Kim. It's not. It's super dense, and it's completely radical. It's completely different than our way that we've been born and taught, like the thought system. So it is super dense. It's a big book. I mean, it's a big book. It has the text. It has the lessons, which are 365 lessons that you do every day to undo your thought system in your mind. And then you have the manual for teachers and the clarification of terms. So it's a very big, fat book. What I do with Live Your Happy is I really make it very easy to understand. It's kind of like the book that I would have wanted, because I suffered for 18 years reading the Course in Miracles and not getting my happy on. It was like I was literally going to course groups every week, and I was like, kumbaya, the course group, I am love, la la la. And then during the week, I'm freaking looking for love outside of myself with a man or with my job. So I suffered so much not living the principles of the Course, and watching Oprah and reading so many books left and right and not experiencing my happiness. And it's because I needed to experience what this book is saying, which is like, you need to live this stuff. Like, that's it. Don't play the game anymore of like having these things be fancy things in your mind, but go out and be the expression of whatever you are spiritually seeking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. So I'm curious, one last question. And then we're going to have you on the New World Now podcast very soon as well. So we'll be able to go even deeper, but I'm curious what you would say you most hope that people will take away from your book, Live Your Happy.
Well, what I most hope that they take away is that you've been thinking for a long time, this system of fear. And for a long time, you've been believing your problems, and you've been believing that this world of form is all there is. And what I want you to get is that you can be in this world and understand that you're not of it, that there's so much more to explore, that your happiness doesn't come from outside of you, and your source doesn't come from outside of you, and nothing outside of you defines you, not your job, not your marital status, not your college degree or whatever. You are whole and complete. Your source is within you. You are defined by your true self in God, as God, that connection to love. So it's not outside you. Your happiness is within you. And that's what I hope people get from my book.